Okay, let's jump right in. Today we are doing a deep dive into, well, the very core of India's tech future. We're looking at the state of the Indian IT industry, specifically as we head into the middle of 2025. We've got a massive stack of sources here, the latest media annual reports, some fresh market analysis, and our mission really is to get you the real story behind the big revenue headlines. We're going to talk about the digital transformation in governance, the huge structural shifts in the job market, and India's quiet but very powerful push into its own advanced R&D.
And that context is so important because at the macro level, the story is still one of explosive growth. I mean, there's global uncertainty, sure, but the Indian tech industry, it's still expected to add about 126,000 net new employees this fiscal year. That pushes the total workforce towards, 5.8 million people?
That's a huge number of jobs.
It is. And this whole expansion is setting the stage for a really big milestone. Industry revenues are projected to hit $300 billion by fiscal year 2026. That's, a foundational piece of their global economic footprint.
Right, but that $300 billion target, it brings up an immediate tension, doesn't it? If the industry is growing that fast and it needs that many new people, why are the basic rules of the game changing so drastically? We're seeing sources showing a dramatic shift in who gets hired and even where they're allowed to work.
Let's just unpack that labor market pivot right away.
Okay, because what stands out immediately is this sort of paradox in the hiring. On paper, demand looks fantastic. The total demand for tech roles in 2025 has climbed to 1.8 million. That's a solid 16% jump from 2024. So if you just read that headline, you'd think the hiring frenzy is back on.
But the reality, when you actually dig into the numbers, it's much more selective.
It is intensely selective. The rebound is deeply targeted. It's not broad-based at all. For, fresh graduates, all those engineering students India produces, the gate has just gotten incredibly narrow. The data shows that only about 15% of total IT hiring in 2025 is for entry-level roles. 15%. That's a staggering drop when you think about the fact that mid-career professionals, the ones with 4 to 10 years of experience, they command a huge 65% of the total market demand.
And this is the real insight for you, the listener. This isn't just a temporary dip. It signals that the Indian IT industry is, it's maturing structurally. For decades, the model was often about bulk hiring freshers, training them up, and using that labor arbitrage. Now, as the industry moves to high-value services, complex product engineering, advanced R&D companies are really prioritizing reliability over promise.
So they need people who can come in and deliver high-level results on day one, not spend 6 months in a training pipeline. That 65% demand for experience really reflects a market that's hedging its bets and demanding specialization right now.
Exactly. The focus has shifted from training capacity to specialized delivery capacity.
And speaking of control, the sources also highlight how companies are redefining where this work even happens. It seems like a clear end to the fully remote era. In March 2025, Infosys, which is always a bellwether, right? They mandated that employees have to be in the office for a minimum of 10 days a month.
And they didn't just issue a memo, they really institutionalized it. The company rolled out a new system to enforce it, basically telling their tech workforce that an attendance tracker would be monitoring compliance and limiting WFH days.
And here's where it really hits home. If an employee fails to meet that 10-day minimum, the penalty isn't just a talking to. It's a direct deduction from their earned leave balance. That makes it a mandatory hybrid model, not a flexible one.
It really underscores that the industry is trying to get a handle on, cultural stability, collaboration, knowledge transfer, all the things that are harder in a fully distributed setup. They're using these internal policy levers to reinforce being physically present, and it reflects a general tightening across all the major IT firms.
That desire for stability and control isn't just internal, though. It's being written into law through major regulatory shifts. Let's transition to the new framework that underpins the whole industry. The Digital Personal Data Protection, or DPDP, rules for 2025.
This is a monumental shift for privacy in India. The rules are really designed to strengthen the rights of the data principal, and that's you, the individual citizen whose data is being collected.
Okay, so what specific power does this actually give back to me, the citizen?
3 main things. First, you get the right to access your personal data and demand corrections or updates if it's wrong. Second, and this is crucial, you can request that your data be removed in certain situations. It gives you a functional right to be forgotten. And the companies, the data fiduciaries, they have to respond to that request within 90 days.
So if some company has 5-year-old marketing data on me, I can actually force them to update it or maybe even delete it.
Precisely. It creates real accountability. But maybe the most revolutionary part is the enforcement mechanism itself.
Right.
It's fully digital. The rules establish the Data Protection Board of India with 4 members. The entire process, from filing a complaint to tracking its status, it all happens online through a dedicated portal or an app. The aim is to get rid of the paperwork, speed things up, and make the whole system accessible to everyone no matter where they are. This is data governance at scale.
That shift from policy control to technological self-determination is really something. And here's where it gets really interesting. The deep push into indigenous cutting-edge R&D that's changing the technological backbone of India.
Right, and that indigenous drive is most visible in how they're embracing AI. We're seeing 5 key trends, but the biggest driver for mass adoption is just the collapse in cost. The cost of running AI models is expected to plummet to around 120 INR per hour, maybe even lower, and that's being driven by these new India-specific large language models.
That kind of price drop makes GenAI accessible for basically every mid-sized business. So where is this tech making the biggest difference right now?
It's moving way beyond just pilot projects. Customer service, operations, sales, and marketing, they're all leading the way. We have some great examples of this at scale, like Tata AIA Life's Tasha bot.
Ah, the AI insurance agent.
Exactly. Tasha has handled 7.5 million customer interactions with an incredible 98% goal completion rate. And it's not just answering simple questions, it's helping with policy reviews, even coaching human agents on sales calls.
And on the creative side, huge time savings. The sources mentioned ABFRL cutting the time to create digital prints, fabric designs, from 8 hours down to just 2 hours, all thanks to GenAI tools. That's a 75% efficiency gain.
But for AI to really, democratize access in a country as diverse as India, it has to speak the languages of the people. This is where the government initiative Bhashini becomes so pivotal.
Break down Bhashini for us.
Bhashini's goal is to create a massive open-source Indic language dataset. And this is critical because the major international LLMs, they're mostly trained on English. They really struggle with the complexity and the nuance of India's hundreds of languages. So Bhashini is a focused effort to make sure that AI and digital services actually work for India's multilingual population, building a truly local AI ecosystem.
But with cutting-edge AI comes cutting-edge risk. The sources are highlighting that these sophisticated AI capabilities are now being weaponized by cybercriminals, creating an urgent threat.
We saw a really horrifying example early last year. In January 2024, a Hong Kong-based employee was tricked into a video conference with who they thought were senior executives from their UK firm.
But they were deepfakes.
Hyper-realistic deepfakes, all created with AI, impersonating the CFO and other senior leaders. The fraudster convinced the employee to transfer about $25 million to bank accounts they controlled.
Wow. Wait, walk us through what that means. If a video call with people you know can be faked well enough to trick someone into a transaction of that size, what does that mean for remote audits, board meetings, any senior decision-making that happens online?
It means that, simple biometrics or traditional cybersecurity just aren't enough anymore. The threat has moved from hacking a network to hacking human trust through pure deception. This incident specifically shows why we need AI-powered security solutions. The only way to fight AI-driven deception is with AI-powered detection.
And that threat landscape just accelerates the push for self-reliance, or Atmanirbhar in foundational tech, which means basically building the chips themselves. What progress are we seeing on indigenous hardware?
A huge leap in processing power. Under the Digital India RISC-V program, CDAC has successfully designed and developed the VGA series of microprocessors. And this includes India's first indigenous 64-bit multi-core RISC-V-based superscalar out-of-order processor.
Okay, that is a mouthful. For listeners who aren't chip architects, why does developing your own RISC-V processor matter? What does it actually do?
Think of it this way. The global chip industry is dominated by a few big players with locked proprietary architectures. RISC-V, on the other hand, is open source. So by developing their own VGA processor on RISC-V, India gets a few things. First, complete self-reliance and security. No dependence on foreign IP that could be restricted. Second, customization. They can tailor the chip for exactly what India needs, whether that's for defense, telecom, or e-governance. They're essentially building the brain of the computer at home.
So instead of buying the car off the lot, you're designing the engine from scratch. And to support that massive hardware ambition, the talent pipeline has to be completely overhauled.
Absolutely. This needs specialized talent, not just generic IT grads. The chips to start up, or C2S program, is tackling this head-on, training 85,000 specialists in areas like VLSI and embedded system design. And new curriculums designed for the semiconductor industry have already been adopted by over 625 colleges. It's a direct link from academia to high-tech industry.
And shifting from high-tech silicon to the ultra-secure future. What's happening on the quantum front?
India's taking a big step in secure communications with the MAQAN project. That's the Metro Area Quantum Access Network. They're developing India's first multi-point quantum key distribution, or QKD, network.
Quantum key distribution. Give us the simple analogy for that.
Okay, think of it like an internet cable where the encryption key is sent using individual particles of light photons. If anyone tries to intercept that key, the laws of quantum physics mean the attempt itself instantly changes the photons, alerting both sides. It's mathematically unhackable.
So it's the secure communication of the future.
It is. The MAQAN project is running over existing optical fibers in Chennai right now, in a 5-node setup connecting places like IIT Madras. It's a vital testbed for rolling out secure, quantum-based comms nationally.
Okay, so we've covered the labor shift, the new privacy rules, the tech ambition. But what does all this mean for the average citizen? The power of this is best seen in the massive scale of the e-governance platforms.
The scale is just astonishing. It's totally transforming how citizens interact with the government. Let's start with DigiLocker. It's not just a digital wallet, it's the engine for paperless governance.
Give us the hard numbers.
DigiLocker has 327.56 million registered users and has issued 7.76 billion documents. To put that into perspective, it integrates things like high school mark sheets from 36 different state boards, land records from 8 states, pension documents from 17 states. Imagine needing your degree verified instantly for a job. DigiLocker is the backbone that makes that happen without friction.
And Umang is like the single front door for all of it.
Exactly. Umang, the unified mobile app, now has about 200 101 central and state government services with over 7.34 registered users. And if you look at the sheer volume, the eTAL 3.0 portal, the system that tracks these transactions, recorded over 1,005,271 crore e-transactions total, with 93.33 crore of those happening daily as of December 2024.
Nearly 1 billion digital transactions every single day. That speaks to massive adoption and trust in the system. Let's pull out a few examples of how IT is reaching into these vital sectors. What are we seeing in health?
In health, AI is already saving lives. The iOncology.ai platform, developed with CDAC and AIMS Delhi, helps doctors with the early detection of breast and ovarian cancer. And the sources show its prediction accuracy is over 75% using patient data. That's a huge tool for diagnostics.
And beyond just AI, there's massive system integration in the hospitals themselves.
Yes. The e-Sushrat Hospital Management Information System is being rolled out in over 4,000 health facilities. It's generated roughly 2 crore e-prescriptions through systems like the Railway HMIS. That's efficiency at a scale that just streamlines everything for the patient.
How about agriculture? That's a massive user base for tech in India.
The Kisan Sarathi 2.0 project is the key platform. It's giving location-specific, demand-based advice to farmers in 13 languages. Over 247.74 plus lakh farmers are registered. It's taking information from the lab right to the farmer's field in their own language.
And the high-tech angle.
The use of specialized drones for pest detection. UAV-based systems have successfully demonstrated early detection for threats like the red spider mite and tea mosquito bug in tea plantations. That allows for rapid, targeted intervention before crops are destroyed.
And finally, how is IT helping manage really complex systems like governance and the environment?
Well, GIS platforms like Bharat Maps are foundational for all spatial data. For the environment, we have specialized flood warning tools. The Siminu Geospatial Portal, for example, gives early flood warnings with about a 2-hour lead time for the next 48-hour forecast. That gives local authorities critical time to prepare.
And at the very highest level of government monitoring.
They use something called Prayas 2.0, which they call the dashboard of dashboards. This system was developed for the PMO, and it pulls data electronically via APIs from all the various scheme portals. It provides a single, real-time view of scheme performance across the country, ensuring that decision-making is data-driven. So to synthesize all this, India's IT sector in May 2025 is really defined by a few mandatory pivots. We're seeing the return to regulated hybrid work, stringent data privacy with the DPDP 2025 framework, but most importantly, there is this deep, purposeful push into sovereign technologies, AI, specialized hardware like VGA, and quantum networks like MAQAN.
And this technological ambition is completely linked to the labor market reality. The path for broad-based entry-level hiring has narrowed, and it's become unforgivingly skills-focused. That tight link between high-value indigenous R&D and the demands of the labor market is the key takeaway for you, the listener. We've seen the industry commit to training and reskilling huge numbers of people, including that goal to reskill 6.25 lakh IT professionals under the Future Skills Prime program and training manpower under the C2S scheme. So given this intense national focus on specialized skills like AI and VLSI design, and that dramatic drop in broad entry-level hiring, what new metrics should students and academic institutions be prioritizing right now? It's clearly no longer just about getting a degree. It's about aligning with this digitally empowered, self-reliant future that's being defined by building indigenous hardware and deploying complex AI. That is the new benchmark for success in this industry.